VK, VK, can you hear me? VK,
Hello.
yeah, hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, VK. How you doing?
Excellent. Good. How are you?
Doing real good. How about I open the show and we'll get talking to you in just a second.
Let's do it.
All right. Want to welcome everybody to No Cover TV's podcast, where we feature the original music all over America and the world, and it's about the original music, whether it's national scene or it's the local scene. You know, we got to get the music out there because it's quite hard sometimes to get that music out there and get it where it needs to be. And we got a great show for you today. Special guest in the house, VK Lynne from the Spider Accomplice out of California. How are you doing, VK?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I'm just trying to stay warm up here in Michigan.
Is it absolutely ridiculous there right now?
It is absolutely ridiculous, yes.
Oh,
So you're in California.
yeah.
Are you in the LA area?
I am in Los Angeles. I'm in North Hollywood, and it's actually pretty. Knock wood. It's warm here today, so I'm enjoying that. But we're heading out soon, so I know that I better enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah, we're going to touch base on that definitely. I used to live in California. I definitely miss the sunshine and the warm and wearing my shorts in the wintertime.
Mhm.
So, but a lot to catch up on. Wow, amazing stuff that you've got going on.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. I've been checking stuff out, doing just a little research here. I don't want to do a lot because then I'll know everything and then I got nothing to say.
You got the
So,
surprises. You got surprises.
you're right. So I got my general list, but what we're going to do is we're touch a little bit on the past, the present, and the future, and a little bit of everything in between. And we got time, so sit back and just enjoy yourself.
Awesome. Let's do it.
All right, good. VK Lynne and the Spider Accomplice. Now that had to start somewhere. Let's talk about it. When and where?
All right. So the Spider Accomplice right now is a duo. It's myself and Arno Nurmisto, who is a guitarist from Finland. And we met out here, I'm going to say 10 years ago now. And we were part of another band. And that band dissolved. It was a short-term thing. But when it did, Arno and I realized that we had similar influences musically. And that's pretty unusual because we both like blues and we both like metal. And, and usually those two things go together. And we thought, well, let's give it a go. And let's see if we can write some blues metal. So we ended up with what the Spider Accomplice music is now, which is a strange, like bluesy, rocky metal sort of thing. And it's hard to figure out. Like when people say, "Oh, who do you sound like?" It's really hard for me to pin down. And we're actually okay with that. In the beginning, we thought, "Gosh, is anyone going to like this?" And then we're like, that everyone thinks that until everything's new at some point. So we're going to just have a run at it and see what happens. So that's what we've been doing.
Well, and that's what you are doing. I mean, when I got a hold of your music, and of course, definitely check out the videos. You're a woman that's in your face. You laid out there. I'm glad I'm in Michigan and you're in California because I don't want you to kick my ass.
Don't start.
No, but your music, I'm listening to the lyrics, looking at the lyrics, very powerful. You get to the point on some subjects there.
Yeah. Well, writing in general, I mean, I write songs, but I also, have written some novels and some poetry, and I'm always writing because for me, that's really where a lot of times I almost forget that, like, I don't think of myself necessarily as a musician. I think of myself as a writer because that's
Okay.
what I do. And I think for me, first of all, like I used to teach English and I used to say, look, I've got one side of a brain. Okay. I've got lots of grammar and English and words and stuff on one side, but the other side is just full of rainbows and unicorn poo. Do not ask me to do your taxes. I got no math brain for you, nothing. But
Right.
the stuff, the metaphors and the expression, that is where I really feel like I can be myself. And so I really try to instill hope into my lyrics so that when people hear the song, they can feel like if they were having a bad day, they can either feel like, wow, somebody feels the same way, or, oh, it's going to be okay. I'll be fine.
Well, your expressions are definitely coming to people at how they are feeling nowadays. I mean, life just kind of fucking sucks right now for a lot of people.
It does. It does. And if you let social media and the news creep in, you're not going to get out of bed in the morning. You're just not, because it's too depressing. And so I'm trying to write music that makes people feel like, you know what? Forget about all the noise. We still have a life to live here. Just get out there and do the thing, man. Just do it. Just like our song Fight. It's like, just fight, man. Just fight the power. Woo.
Exactly. And I was checking that video. I mean, it's very intense, and it's just, yeah, fight the power, keep moving on, forget about the bullshit, and just fight. Yeah, go.
Yeah.
Definitely, And now you said a two-piece, but you're kind of a three-piece, aren't you?
Well, we're no, I know for Fight you saw the drummer Rainey.
Yeah.
She was supposed to see. Here's what happened. Rain joined the band, and we had her for the video. But literally 2 days later, she got a job offer to teach at a college. So she's now a college professor in New York City. And
What the heck?
I was like, you know what? You go on, girl. Like, get it. So she's out there and she's changing lives right now because she's teaching this psychology class, and she's really doing the thing. I'm so proud of her. But we're like, okay, well, now we're back to being a duo, and we were a duo before, so we'll be a duo again, and it works pretty nicely for us.
Yeah, you two are a reckon to force with. Definitely. I mean, obviously you're doing the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and now who's playing the guitar now? Who's that?
That's Arno. Arno's playing the guitar.
All right, now he's a madman.
He is.
He's all over the place.
He's freaking enormous. And so when people see us on stage, they are like, what are we looking at here? This guy's 6'5", and I'm 5'4", and it's ridiculous. I mean, I had snuck in to the bathroom after one of the shows, and I heard these girls in the bathroom. One said, "Did you see that last band? The guy's like 7 feet tall, and the girl's like 4 feet tall. It's crazy." Like, it's not that big of a gap, but it looks that way when you're in the audience. It looks like, oh my gosh, what am I looking at right now?
Right. When you're sitting down, it's not so bad behind the kit. Mm-hmm. That's great. I mean, I'm just kind of looking at the videos where I'm going to play some in just a second, but they're awesome. Just the dialect and everything is just awesome. Are you coming up with that yourself, or are you allowing the producers to do that?
It's both. It's both. For Fight, we really just wanted something that would capture the energy of our performance. So
okay.
When we went to Vicente, because Vicente Cordero is the one who did the video, and we went to him, we said, look, we really want something that captures what the feeling is like at a Spider Accomplice show, like the energy and everything. And he said, say no more, fam. Way
Don't give me too much. Yeah. Yeah, video creators are something else. They come up with some great ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. They do. It's something else. Now, I have some of my general questions. I think I might throw one of them at you here. Kind of looking at them here. We hit that one, and you've gone quite a ways in your career. And how long has it been since you started your career as the Spider Accomplice?
Oh golly. Well, I guess the Spider Accomplice itself, we can say, is about 10 years old.
10 years old. So you've got some momentum going.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I lately have been checking out a lot of the female powerhouse singers as yourself, and I'm amazed at you ladies.
Oh, thank
you. Wow. Jesus.
We're out here in these streets, man.
Oh my God, you are. Jeez. And your voice and the meaning and the ferocity is just fucking right in your face, man. You're going to listen to me or you're not going to listen to me. I love it. It's great.
Well, if you're going to sing. Like, That's my opinion. I feel like if you got something to say it loud. Just go for it and do it. But
You don't hold back, do you?
yeah, and I think everyone's got their own way to express. Some of my favorite singers are people who can also do the really, really like the stuff. And I mean, it's funny. I've experimented with that, but it's definitely not where I shine. But give me a blues thing to scream around, and I'm gonna scream. I'm good with that.
There you go. Yeah, I work with pretty much 80% of metal and death metal, and I don't know how those guys can get their voices that low and stuff like that. Even the women. So
It's a technique.
it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm just a guitar player. I'm not even gonna try to sing.
Sing. Some people just sing better than others, but everyone should be encouraged to sing because it's good for your soul. It's good for your soul.
It is. It is. It is. Now you are a very busy lady. Very busy.
Yes, if you can see me right now, I'm sitting in my office in the midst of all of my whiteboards and lists and everything, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, wow, we could touch on so many things. Let's hit the main thing right now. You're in about a week going on tour.
Yeah, Tuesday. We leave Tuesday. So yeah, right now what's around is a lot of bags and boxes and things of me trying to get packed and ready to go. We're going to be gone for a month, hitting all of I like that we're calling it the North American tour because we are hitting the States, but we do go up to Quebec for one show. So North American, there we go. We have 20 cities to hit in, I believe, 26 days. So
20 dates in 26 days.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to be fast paced.
It is. It is. My friend of mine asked for the schedule, and I sent it to him, and he said, "This is a lot of mileage." It is definitely a lot of mileage. So.
It is going to be a lot of mileage. Wow. No. Well, good for you. That sounds very nice. I know you're headed up my way, and dress warm.
Oh, yeah. So I'm always cold, so I am prepared. The amount of things I have here to try to keep my little body warm is ridiculous. So.
Well, good. Now, so you're very well known. The Spider Accomplice is very well known. Now, your fans, you got a lot of fans out there. What do you think about your fans?
Well, what's crazy is there's more than I thought there were, because you've got the ones that do, introduce themselves, who interact with you and talk to you. But then there's the ones that almost never say anything because, they listen to the music. They don't really want to get personal. But when we put up about the show, the tour, people started saying, "Hey, I'm going to come see you in, this city or that city." And I'm like, "Oh, who are you?" And because you think to yourself, you know all your fans. And so you think, well, there's a few of them, but then there's like, oh, wow, look at these people who actually have been listening to your music and enjoy it, but you've never met. And I'm like, that is going to be so freaking cool to get to actually meet these folks out there on the road and be like, thank you for supporting us all this time, silently and being so rad. So it's going to be really, really awesome. I can't wait.
That's beautiful. That's what I want to hear. And is there a way that your fans can get a hold of the Spider Accomplice to get maybe some swag, CDs, anything?
Absolutely. I mean, we are everywhere because every time you turn around, there's another social media site. So we're on Facebook. It's the official Spider Accomplice. And we also have a Bandcamp page that you can get all of our stuff, all of our, CDs and music and t-shirts and all the things. But you can also hit us up on Instagram. You can hit us up on Twitter, on even on the TikTok, all those places. We're pretty easy to find. And I try to have everything linked to each other so that if you just put in the Spider Accomplice into Google, you shall find us.
Yeah, and I'm sure you're the only one with that name. So yeah, you're number one on Google, I'm sure.
Yeah, it is unique.
That's beautiful, man. And they can find you on all the platforms for Spotify on up. All right.
Yep.
That's awesome. Now we talked about one tour here. Anything as far as any of those European people get a hold of you?
Our European fans?
Yeah, or even European dates and fans.
European dates would be great. We are looking into that. We're talking to a tour promoter right now who's interested in getting us over there into like the Ireland area, which I'm totally in for. My husband is Irish, 100% Irish, and so we feel like that would be really cool to go over there and hang out in Ireland for a while. So we're going to see about that. But honestly, we're open to pretty much anything. Arno would love to go do Finland, obviously, since he's from Finland. And we have some really awesome fans in Finland that, you know, I guess they found us through Arno and now they're just, you know, they're there. Our kind of music, especially like female fronted metal, does get a much warmer reception in Europe. So we do have a lot of fans in Europe that are really sweet and really rad. And I know some of them are very disappointed that we're not heading over there this time, but I keep telling them one step at a time, you know. If you want to support your city, tell all your friends, make a ruckus about it. The more noise you make, the better the chance that someone will say, okay, we'll bring these two clowns here and we'll do it.
It's true. You know, there is a promoter out there that is going to hear you, see you, and is going to pick you up and bring you on out there, because that's where you're going to shine, of course. That's where all, you know, if the female metal singers out there, definitely there is a thing for it. I mean, it's hot.
Yeah.
Very hot in Europe. Very hot in Europe. And your friend and my friend Aziza, she goes every other year to Germany, and my God, you know.
Yes, I love Aziza. Well, actually, Aziza, was she with us in Belgium? She was part of Eve's Apple, which,
yep.
Yeah, and so Eve's Apple, we performed at Metal Female Voices Fest twice in Belgium, and it was unbelievable. It was just unbelievable. The metal fans were so warm and accepting and open, and like it was just incredible. It was incredible.
Yeah, she'll be on the show in a few weeks, and every year she tries to get me to go to Germany. It's like, no, I'll be trouble, and I'm not going to end up coming back or something. So I better stay at my office at home. Oh, anyways, but we're not talking about her. We're talking about you. So great with that. You got a lot of fans Europe-wide, American state, the United States, I'm sure Canada.
Yeah, what's really cool is there is a man who has reviewed basically every band I feel like that I've ever been in. Like he always writes a review about every record that comes out that I've ever been on. And he messaged and said, I'm going to come to the show in Quebec. And I'm like, what? I had no idea that I knew he was Canadian, but I didn't know he was right in Quebec. So I'm going to get to meet him after all these years. And that's really exciting.
That is exciting when you can meet somebody like that. You know, it's rare that I get out to the shows now. You know, I've been doing it for so long, you get a little older, but I miss it. And you know, what would you say? You know, you've been doing shows for 10 years now. Now, can you think back through all those 10 years? What's one, maybe two of them shows that stand out the most, maybe the worst or the best?
Well, the funny thing is, it's only been 10 years of the Spider Accomplice, because
Right.
I've been doing shows for a lot longer than that. Longer than I will admit to on this recording. But there have been so many that like you go, is this really happening? When I had a solo band, it was just VK Lynne, and I had written a blues record, so we were doing a blues show, and the House of Blues on Sunset Boulevard. It was a Friday night. I got a phone call from one of the sound guys there, and he said, okay, I need a favor. The opening act just called out. They can't make it, and we need someone who can literally wrangle up their band right now and get down to the House of Blues and play on a Friday night on the main stage. I'm like, yeah. Oh. I literally called all the boys in my band. I'm like, I don't care what the fuck you're doing right now. Stop doing it. Get in the car right now. You know? And they're like, okay. And so we showed up, and we had a dressing room. Like the guys kept saying, look, that's us on the door. It says VK Lynne on the door. That's us. And I'm like, it is us. That's crazy. And because this was early on, so we thought we were Guns N' Roses. We really did. We were in. We're like, this is the best ever. And the curtain came up, because that was when they still had the big curtain at the House of Blues. And the place was packed, and there's all these girls along the front, because we were opening for a band that was, I guess, a lot of handsome boys. And in the front, I heard them start whispering, and they're going, "It's a girl, it's a girl, it's a girl." And I leaned down and I said, "You're damn right it's a girl, motherfuckers." And they're like, "Yes, we love this bitch." And then we had them from that point on.
Awesome. That's it.
Like, it's one of those moments when you realize it does make a difference when people see someone who looks like them.
True.
They were just amazed. They were like, "It's a girl." And I thought, wow, we still haven't come far enough that's like, "Oh my God, there's a girl in the front of the band." It's like, yes, there's a girl in front of the band. Come on, man. Let's do this.
And you're saying it the way they want to hear it.
Yes, yes. Well, it was a rowdy crowd. It was definitely a rowdy crowd. I went to the merch table afterwards and I said, "Hey, did we sell any CDs?" And the girl's like, "Here's the deal. You did not sell any CDs, but every last one of them was stolen." She said, "Well, I went," and she says, "I went to get a beer and then I got lost and blah, blah," and she kind of wandered away. And she said, "When I came back, all your CDs were gone." What's funny then is about a month later, a review on one of these sites popped up that said, "I picked up VK Lynn's album at the House of Blues a few weeks ago, and it's really awesome." And she wrodt this long review about it. I'm like, "Yeah, you picked it up."
Thief. That's the review.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Great, man. Wow. You got a lot going on. Now, how about radio play? Anything going on?
We've been going back and forth with that one. I keep wondering how much value there is in radio play in a world where folks just listen to Spotify or they listen to their own MP3s in the car. I mean, everyone's got Bluetooth in their car now. And I'm like, is anyone listening to terrestrial radio? And I don't know if they are. We get played on a lot of internet radio, which is great. And like Women of Metal, like the Women of Metal show, they have been so amazing. I can't even tell you. They have supported me since like 2012. They've been playing my stuff. So they're just rad. They're so rad. But I had talked to actually a PR guy, and I won't say his name because I won't out him that way, but I said to him, "Okay, bro, you're a musician too. Forget about the sales pitch for a minute. If you were me, would you put your money into radio right now?" And he's like, "No." I'm like, "Okay, thank you." He's like, "Yeah." He said, "It's something that, you can kind of," but he said, "It's not going to move the needle." It's not.
No, it doesn't. And then an artist right now, I do this show to help, promote your music and stuff and what you do, but also be informational to other artists, up and coming artists too, to give them a little leeway on what to do and not to do and stuff like that. And labels have changed. It's about money now, I think. And I used to write a lot of contracts when I was booking and managing or doing the TV show and stuff. And it is a lot of politics involved.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I get it. It's a business, but it's a very difficult thing when you're an artist to try to visualize yourself as a product. And some people are very adept at it. There are artists that they are so skilled at that. They have made themselves into a brand and a product, and they are good at selling it. And then there are others like me who everything is very personal for me. And so it feels weird to try to say, "Hey, you should listen to my music." So but I know I've got to be better about that. And this is something that Arno and I have talked about. We said before this tour, we really need to kind of bolster each other up, because both of us tend to do that. We're like, "Oh yeah, we're okay. Here's our song. If you like it, that's cool. But if you don't, that's okay." And we're like, "No, we need to walk in this and be like, 'Hey, we're awesome.'" And I said, "I know. It even feels weird to say that." And he's like, "I know." But it's business, If you don't believe it, no one else is going to.
Exactly. And that's what I say. And believe me, what I've seen and heard, keep your chins out, man. Don't fucking do that to yourselves. You guys are great, man. Push. Kick the fucking doors down and kick their ass.
Sometimes I think that the more aware you are of talented people, the more you feel like you're not that talented. I think sometimes the people who are not talented have so much confidence because they're not really aware of anybody else. They're only focused on their own thing.
It's
sometimes I always say, well, we need to have the confidence of someone who doesn't give a fuck.
I always blame the drummer on that one or the bass player.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think you're in the right direction. I mean, don't give up your ferocity of what you're doing.
Oh,
Um,
never, never, never.
no,
I
my,
always say they're going to be wheeling me out someday.
oh, you're a Spitfire, son. So, Pete. And unbelievable. I mean, I'm going to try to play a song here. I've got my mic hooked up to and stuff. Doing it remotely, sometimes it doesn't come across as good as it should, but they get the gist of it. Okay, because I'm just going to play a little bit of it, but I'm going to tell them what it is. All right, okay?
All right, you hit it.
Okay, I want to do fight.
Do it.
Okay. Now that was done. Well, you put that up 5 months ago. Is that a newer one?
It is. It actually is. Arno and I were working on the record, and he just suddenly had this riff in his mind, and he said, "Let's do like a happy song," because I'm always trying to do sad songs, and because that's where I shine. I'm like,
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm with you. And somebody said, "You can't have sad words and happy music." I'm like, really? Tell Morrissey that. Okay, let's calm down. So he this riff, and I said, "I got you, bro. I know exactly what we're gonna do with this." And I started singing along to it, and the next thing I knew, we had this crazy, really fast. Like when we finished the song, we're both saying like,
"Yeah, I would say so." Wow. Well, why don't I play a minute of it, and then we'll get back and talk about it. All right.
Love it.
All right. Let's hit it. Let's see what we got here.
He said that I go out swinging, but I didn't go down at all. Look around, his head is ringing. He's the one that's about to fall. Pick your fire, pick your poison, pick the pieces up as you're leaving. I cannot lie, hard as you try, but I can show no better. In every song, in every line, I'll go on forever. Stop keeping odds, stop keeping score. If this is a game, I'm already won. I don't need to play anymore.
Yeah, I like what I'm hearing and seeing here, BK. This is great.
Thank you.
Wow. Yeah, I see the intensity here between what you are usually doing.
Yeah, but that's the thing too. Every song is different, and initially when we started working together, we were a little concerned about that. We thought, does it sound disjointed that all the songs are different? And then we thought, no, that's just kind of how we write. We write what we're feeling right at that moment, and sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down, sometimes I know that for our fans, they love that about us. They love that every song could be absolutely anything. They have no idea what they're going to hear from us. Here she goes, But some people are like, "What am I listening to? Oh my God!" It's strange to me because I feel like the artists that we love the most, the artists that we all go back to. I mean, the Beatles, David Bowie, Queen. Their songs were so varied and diverse. They wrote so many different kinds of songs and about so many different things. So I don't know why now in modern times we tend to want artists to make the same song over and over and over again.
True. I mean, this is a question I never ask, I guess. I'm sure somewhere around, I wouldn't say the same age, but maybe a decade or so. But what do you think of the millennials and the Gen Z and the music and how they're approaching what we used to do and got to where we got?
I think it's hard for them. I think it's hard for them because they and I was actually talking to a young lady the other day. I'm part of a group called Gritty and Pink, which is a collective of female musicians. It's kind of reminiscent of Eve's Apple, except these girls are from all different genres. And we've got girls who are not just musicians, but they're engineers and they're videographers and they're photographers. And so we've got the whole gamut. And I like to talk to the ones that are coming up because the one said to me, she's like, we were born online. She said, from the moment I was born, there was always social media. she's like, that's why I like talking to you, to find out what it was like before social media.
Oh my gosh. Oh no.
I feel like to some degree, we have been taught to sell ourselves from day one, and taught that everything is commodified, and also taught that there's a million people out there who want to do what you're doing. So you better work really hard because there's so much competition. There's a ton of competition and you have to break through that noise. And I thought, wow, that is something to think about, because right now there's more musicians out there that are getting visibility than ever before, because you just have so many more outlets. Back in the day, you used to have to schlep your cassette around. And,
oh yes, all the cassettes.
all cassettes. So now it's a whole different world, and in some ways it's easier, but in some ways it's harder. And I think they're just trying to do the best they can with it. And it is difficult when they come up against folks like us, who are from a different generation and who aren't as evolved, shall we say, as we are, because there are a lot of folks who are older who still want to go back to the old way. Well, you got it this way, and they're leading these kids in the wrong direction and having them spend their money on the wrong things. And by the time the kids realize, oh, I did this all ass backwards, well, now they've lost 5 years, and so
can't get that back.
No, or the money they lost, at which everybody in LA has lost at least $10,000 to stupidity.
I did. Probably more than that. Shit.
That's, just living in LA for like any amount of time should get you like an honorary degree in life.
Yeah, I just hung out at Venice Beach. That's all.
That's dangerous now. It's gotten super dangerous down there.
I heard of that. Oh my God, I can't believe it. From when I was there in 2000, and I can't believe what has changed to now.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly now.
Wow, crazy. I'm glad I'm back home, I guess. So, but what the hell are we talking about? Anyways, so you're doing damn well for yourselves. Let's talk about CDs, upcoming CDs, anything?
Well, the new CD we just put out, literally, what was the date? See, this is what happens. I'm getting old. The date, I know there's so many things going on in my brain is like, what? But we did put it out a few months ago, because we played at Lucky Strike, and it was a few months ago. But the record is pretty new. It's called The Venomous Montage. It's 11 songs, and they all, I don't think they could be more different from each other. But at the same time, I feel like they all sound like the Spider Accomplice. And we had a really great artist do the CD artwork. His name's Bo Bradshaw, and he has done Unleash the Archers and Seven Kingdoms and Dragon Force. And so, and Lords of the Trident. And we're friends with a lot of those folks. And I was looking at their artwork and I thought, wow, I wonder what Bo could do for us. And when I told him, what we wanted, he was really stoked. He said, oh my gosh, I want to do something. He's like, I've got this spider idea in my head, and you're going to be like this Spider Woman evil. I guess, yes, hit it, go, draw. Like, so.
All right, that's great. And I was going to say about your videos that I check out on YouTube. What I love is that how you take advantage of LA and use the background, because LA, is a kick-ass town. I mean, there's a lot of cool shit, and you take advantage of it in your videos.
Yeah, as much as we can. Sometimes like the crawl video, it is in LA, but I don't know if people can sense that because we're just out in the desert on rocks and stuff,
Right, that's LA.
Yeah, but that was a pandemic video.
Pandemic video, okay.
Yeah, because we couldn't be in the same place. So I went and shot my part one day, and then Arno went and shot his part another day, and then it was all edited together.
It's gonna be together.
Yeah, we were just like, it was early days before there was a vaccination and stuff, and we just didn't want to chance it. My husband's got type 1 diabetes, and his doctor was like, yeah, let's not give him COVID, shall we? So, okay, we're not going to do that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I'm glad that's kind of subsided to a point right now where we can get on with our lives and stuff and do what we were supposed to do.
I hope so, because, man, everyone is sick in LA right now.
Are they?
It's nuts. I went to pick up some NyQuil for a friend of mine. She asked if I could get her some NyQuil because she was sick. I went to 2 different drugstores and the shelves were utterly empty. There was not NyQuil to be had for love or money. I was like, what the heck? And they said, yeah, everyone's sick.
Oh, oh, brother. I think if people just panic too much and they just start hoarding. That's what they do.
Like,
They do that here with Tylenol and toilet paper.
like, come on, kids. Yeah. Yeah.
But let's see here. What I got? I got a lot of things still to talk to you about. We talked about, how about this one right here? Being a female singer, powerhouse singer, and quite a few of you are out there with in America and Europe. What's the ups and downs? What are you facing out there?
Oh gosh. I mean, nothing that's new.
Nothing new.
It's in some ways it's good that there are organizations like Gritty and Pink, like I was saying, because there needs to be a sense, I think, of unity when we are in, especially when you're in some of the rougher genres. There still tends to be a certain type of person who thinks that you don't belong up there, that that should be a man, and what are you doing, and why are you taking his spot? And so it's definitely affected me in terms of, I really want to support other women in the scene and let them know, hey, you're not alone. Okay, we're all here doing this thing. I really don't like the way that our society tends to foster competition between musicians, and particularly competition between women. They feel like we're backstage mud wrestling each other. We are not. That is just a male. We want everyone to succeed. We want because everyone's different. Everyone's doing their own thing. Someone else's success is not your failure.
No.
So, like on this tour, I've been checking every time a venue adds a local opener on. I go and I check out the band, and if they have a female singer, I reach out and I say, hey, would you like to come up and sing a song with us at the end? Because I have this song that has a lot of cool harmony, and I'm like, I would love that. I love to sing harmony with people. So we've got, women from all over the country on this tour that are just going to come up and sing with me at the end. And I'm like, yeah, because we should be working together. Like, there should be a sense of, hey, we're supporting each other. We're here for each other. It shouldn't be we're against each other. There are a lot of things. I was at a show the other day, and maybe because I've got that Gemma Teller look of, please go fuck yourself. One of the little and I can't remember what she said, but she said, why do you think I always come and stand with you, VK? And I said, because of my glowing personality. She goes, well, yes, but also I know I'm safe when I stand here. She's like, nobody's going to come and grab my butt. And I said, well, no, because I'll knock them the fuck out. And she's like, right. She's like, so I always come stand here. And I'm like, oh, I said, you shouldn't have to worry about that. Like that's like amateur hour, So the fact that we still have those things going on frustrates me a little, because, and maybe my husband says I give men too much credit, but I feel like at this stage, men, they know better. They know better, and they're doing better. I do think they are doing better. And so when a few of them still want to do bullshit like that, I'm like, come on, man. Like, you're just making everybody look bad this way. Just stop it. Just stop it.
Yeah, true. And being a man myself, I'll admit to all the men out there, we're sick fuckers. Shit, the stupid shit that goes through our mind is crazy. And, and it's the resistance and keeping it within ourselves and not doing upon our thoughts that keeps us a decent person.
Yeah.
It's the idiots out there that reach out and grab and do the dumb shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And they do. I mean, it's wild. I learned very early on. I had a show one night, and this was back when I used to play the guitar on stage. So my hands were occupied and I'm stuck behind the microphone, and I was wearing this skirt and these combat boots. And this guy at the front of the crowd just reached up and grabbed hold of the hem of my skirt and yanked, like he was trying to grab it. And fortunately, I clenched my arms down, and I was like, what the heck? What is happening right now? And my husband just came from the back of the room and walked up to him, and he whispered in his ear, and the guy just disappeared. And I was like, well, I said, what happened there? And he said, honestly, all I said was, bro, you're freaking her out.
It's just sometimes a couple simple words will do the job.
Yeah, but I was like, why would you think that's okay? That's
Yeah.
kind of nuts. And so there is definitely that too. They will say things, those types of men will say things to women that they would never say to a man. And they will do things that they would never do to a man. And so that frustrates me a lot too. That frustrates me because I feel like, look, I'm here because I've paid my dues to be here. You know, I don't need your hey sweetie. Like no, I am not sweet. There is nothing sweet about me. So put that away right now.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that high sweetheart shit. Yeah, fuck you. All right.
Come on.
No, that don't work out. So let's see. We got one. I want to try one other song here, and it's called "You Still Lie."
Ah,
Yeah, look at that one. Now that was done around 6 years ago. You put
yeah,
that up
yeah.
6 years ago. Now I like this one because it's not complicated, but you're in your you. Let me just play this. Okay, everybody, you gotta check this out here. Just a second here, and we're gonna get to it. And there we go. Here we go.
Sunny day, blue skies, endless hours flew by. Moonlit memories made smile. We stopped time for a while. Worked ourselves into each other's veins. Walked around inside each other's brains. But you still lied to me. As if I can't see, and you still lie to me. I guess that's how it has to be. Morning doves, dreary eyes, marble fountains run dry. Morning memories.
I'm really liking this, VK.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's. I mean, you're in that car driving and stuff, and I love your attitude. I mean, it's beautiful. You mean, and I know you're on stage and you're in their face.
Well, I'm definitely connecting.
Yeah, and your ferocity and that bold pink hair of yours is amazing.
Thank you.
You know, and I want to touch base here. Didn't I see something with your pink hair that you're doing something to collaborate with that a little bit? I mean, don't didn't I see something you're gathering pictures with people doing something with pink or something? I don't know what I'm talking about.
Trying to think. I do have an endorsement with a hair care brand, with Saints and Sinners. But the pink itself, no. In fact, my hair has been this color pink for like 13 years, and I really think they should sponsor me at this point.
I think so.
People every single day, somebody asks me about it, and I always tell them the brand name, and I always tell them how to do it. And so I'm like, look here now. I know I've told at least 1,000 people like about the hair color. So y'all need to start, supporting me here.
Yeah, well, you mentioned one sponsor. You got any more sponsors helping you guys out?
Oh, helping?
Well, I'm saying backing you up, giving you a little pushy push.
Well, Lizard Spit, they actually have been really sweet. They give us guitar string cleaning products and things like that.
Right.
We don't have a ton of sponsorships. I wish we did. We could definitely use some guitar strings because Arno goes through strings like water. I mean, it's ridiculous.
It is a madman.
He is. And I always tell him, dude, you rock too hard because look, you broke another string. Like, like I said, he's a big dude. So when he attacks that guitar, the guitar has no chance.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping, everybody out here on the airways here, listens to this and supports your music and buys your music and, endorses your music and he picks you up. I mean, you're headed in the right direction. I mean, you're kicking fucking doors down and kicking ass.
Well, thank you. We're trying. We are trying.
I love it, man. And that's what it's about. That's why I've been doing this for so long. I feel it's, the original music scene, national and local, needs to be pushed out there because really the radios aren't going to touch you except for the internet radios.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
it is. And we don't want to mess with labels and all their contracts and bullshit and have take all your money away from you. You can do this yourself nowadays.
To a large degree, you really can. It's very hard because someone asked me, so what does a label actually do for you these days? And I'll be darned if I can tell you, because it doesn't seem like a lot.
They sit in a chair, make you sign a lot of papers. They collect a lot of royalties.
Yeah, and if you just keep your head and you do your research, a lot of times you can do it yourself. And that's what we've been trying to do. Honestly, it's usually just a question of funds. How much money do you have to spend? And usually we have no money to spend. So,
right.
But we're working on it. We're working on it.
Yeah, and you talk for most bands out there, it is a struggling process. I mean, gear costs a lot of money. Doing videos costs money. I mean, just getting it out there. And when you do go a show, you're not going to make the money you were hoping you were making, unless you're doing, like you possibly tours or bigger shows, opening up for bigger acts or things like that, where you got a guaranteed income. Yeah. But it is very difficult to live on a musician's lifestyle.
It is. It is, but it's worth doing. I mean, I can't really imagine having a regular 9-to-5 job. Like, I feel like I would probably explode. I don't think I'm really good at it. I'm not that person. I've never been a 9-to-5.
Yeah, I never liked that myself either. I want to do my thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So, again, how can they get a hold of you and get your merch and stuff?
Okay, well, they can go to Bandcamp. On Bandcamp, we are there under the Spider Accomplice. But they can also find us on Instagram. And on Instagram, I have a Linktree link in the bio, and it takes you to everything that you could possibly want about us. We're also on Facebook if you're more of a Facebook person. And we actually have a website, but I always wonder if we should. I'm like, is anyone using websites anymore? I don't know.
Yeah, I shut mine down 10 years ago.
One of the girls asked me that too. One of the youngins was like, so do you think my band should have a website? And I said, I think so, but I don't know how much you really want to put into it because I don't know. People just go to social media now. They don't really go to websites. So everything's a toss-up.
It's a toss-up. Things are changing so fast.
Yes. Every time I turn around. Now the whole thing is you have to be making a TikTok all the time. And oh gosh, I can't seem to wrap my brain around making a TikTok every day. I just can't.
I won't download it or even go on it. I have no use for TikTok. So
it's just one more thing, and I'm already fit to bust with all the things. So I'm I don't know. I feel like on the road we'll try. I said to Arno, well, that's what we'll do. We'll try to make a little TikTok about where we're at every day on the tour to be like, hey, we're in Seattle today and this is what's going on and blah, blah, blah. But
right. Now we're at 48 minutes. Wow, we've been talking that long. I got like 2 more questions for you. I'll probably let you go. What do you got? What are you thinking for the next, 5-10 years future for you?
Oh gosh. Well, I think we're gonna tour as much as we can, and we're gonna keep writing. And I also have another solo record in me that's itching to get out, so I got to figure out where I'm gonna stick that in my schedule. But I definitely want to do it, and it's probably gonna be more blues based again. I still got more blues in there, so there's that. And living the life. Keep doing it, and hope if the world's around. I mean, in 5 years we might all be exploded. Who knows?
Keep our fingers crossed it doesn't happen. One other question I got for you. I want to know what advice you might have for the upcoming artists out there that are trying to do what you're doing.
Oh, golly. Well, it's funny because folks always ask this question, and I always say the same thing. My advice is don't take advice. I feel like people will give you advice, well-meaning advice, but their advice is really they're telling you what worked for them, and you're
Right.
not them. And so I would say take advice with a grain of salt. You know, if it rings true to you, go for it. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. It's not gospel. Just because someone's successful doesn't mean you can follow their roadmap. And don't be afraid to ask questions. Like, you know, I mean, I really try to make myself available to all the young girls and whatnot in Gritty and Pink, because sometimes they just have regular basic questions that they don't really know who to ask. One of the girls recently, she was doing like her very first show with merch. And she said, how do I do that? How do I set up the merch? Do I have to have a credit card? Do I do it PayPal? And so I kind of like walked her through some of the things you can do, you know, to do that. And she's like, oh, thank God. She's like, I just didn't know who to ask. That's the kind of advice that I feel like you can take, because that's just basic stuff. But when someone says, okay, here is how to succeed, you need to do this. That's when no, you can't
Right.
walk someone else's road. You're going to end up in their house and it doesn't fit.
Right. You're taking someone else's direction, and it's your life, your direction. You know, keep practicing what you're doing and making it the best at what you're doing, and
Yeah.
keep succeeding with that.
Yeah, what works for one person might not work for another, and you might have a totally different experience. So I think also you got to trust your gut. You really got to trust your gut.
Yeah, definitely. Your instinct will tell you.
Unfortunately, we tend to want, and especially folks who are in the business of business, want to tell up and coming artists what they have to do for a reasonable fee. If you're a musician, you get these emails daily in your email that if you're serious about your music, you should be hiring this person to do publicity for you right now. Or if you're serious, you should hire this person to do playlisting. If you're serious, the indication is always that you're a lazy sack of shit and you should be giving your money to all these people.
Right.
No, it's a sales technique, guys. It's a sales technique. It's not gospel. If you need that sort of thing, right, then if that's what you're in the market for, well, then go, but don't let someone shame you into thinking you're a lazy, irresponsible artist just because they're trying to make a few bucks.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I stopped booking. I do a few here and there, but it's changed so much back from 20 years ago and the managing and stuff. It's not commanded anymore because your bands are doing it. So I'm not needed. So, but and for logistical reasons and things like that, and if it's paperwork, contracts, and things, sure, I'm needed for that. But your bands can do pretty much everything.
We can do a lot of it. I think here's the thing. There's always a need for people who have expertise in something. But you shouldn't feel like if you don't have either the money or the inclination to hire somebody, you shouldn't be made to feel like, well, then you're not taking this seriously and you're just a hobbyist. And
True.
they get into these kids' heads, and before you know it, they've spent way more money than they had to spend, and they don't really have anything to show for it. And that
Nothing.
frustrates me, and that really chaps my ass, because I'm like, these kids are just trying to do it the quote unquote right way, but there is no right way.
And then comes big money base comes in and wants to take everything. So no, not at all. No, we're not going to support that. I don't support that. And as I said before, this show's about original music and national music. And I would tell you right now, VK, I don't care if it was the most popular, famous musician in the world came up to me and wanted to do our interview, I would refuse it. You made your money, you did your job, fuck off.
Nope. Fuck off.
That's it.
Well, you got to know what you do, and there's a purpose. Like that's the thing too. There's a purpose to everything. If you're in something for purely business money reasons, well, then you're going to take different steps. There's nothing wrong with that, but your trajectory is going to be very different from someone who's doing it for a genuinely specific purpose that has nothing to do with that. So
yeah.
That's something we have to also stop, like just because, you are a pop star or whatnot, you're not a villain. That's what you're good at, and you have a formula and you're doing it, and great, that's good. But you're also then not necessarily quote unquote better than this indie artist. You're just more successful.
Exactly.
Made their choice and everyone's made their sacrifice. I think that's the thing. We got to stop. Again, you being right doesn't make someone else wrong, and you winning doesn't make someone else fail. Everyone's got their own thing. That's our
Yeah.
problem right now.
And I take thousands of the artists I work with, and I'd put them up against anybody, and I'd take them out. It's incredible the music and the talent we have out there, and it's unlooked on.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, that is why it is good that we do have things like, social media now, so that someone can just kind of stumble across a band that they wouldn't have otherwise and go, oh my God. I still have fans from MySpace. Lord preserve.
MySpace, I love it.
Yep. One of my biggest fans. That's where he found me, MySpace. And he's coming out to see me on this tour, and he's so excited because he's been a fan since the MySpace days. I'm like, Mary and Joseph, oh my stars.
I just grew another gray hair. Damn.
Oh.
Oh my. So VK, we're going to probably wrap it up. I thank you from the bottom of my heart from you coming on today and doing this with me and talking about the Fighter Accomplice and your tour coming up. I hope you kick some fucking ass on that tour and take some names. I know you will.
Thank you for having me, Al. This was a lot of fun.
I appreciate it much, and we will stay in touch, all right? And when you get back to California, send me back some of that sunshine, would you?
100%, whole bottle.
All right. Thank you, VK. I'll talk to you soon. We're out here. It's No Cover TV Podcast. I'll talk to you soon, VK.